Kayleigh McEnany is a co-host of Outnumbered. When all of this happened, our friend, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she posted this. To punish Colombia, Trump is about to make every American pay even more for coffee. Remember, we pay the tariffs, not Colombia. Trump is all about making inflation worse for working class Americans, not better. He's lining the pockets of himself and the billionaire class. I felt like, I don't know her, but I would love to have taken her aside and be like, oh, no, that's not. You still don't understand what happened in November.
Yes, she does not. But the rest of her party may. I mean, interestingly, so she said this, which is factually untrue. Could be, yes, it could lead to inflation, tariffs. There's also a universe in which people lower their prices, other countries lower their prices, and the prices could come down because they want access to the U.S. market. So there's all kinds of economic arguments you can make in response. But the broader point is when you look at 2028 contenders, those individuals have not been very vocal on the J6 pardons, have not been very vocal on the sham accusations against Elon Musk and his hand gesture at a rally. They've been very muted. She's one of the few exceptions, along with Pritzker. I think the rest of the party has learned, let's step back, take a breath. He's right on immigration.
I mean, this sent a very strong message over the weekend, and how fast it all happened was remarkable, and perhaps sends a message about how more of this is going to be handled in the future, because it seems like they're only getting started.
Oh, without a doubt. And this tit for tat with Colombia, think about the message that sends to Mexico, to Canada. The Wall Street Journal's reporting Trump's serious about tariffs. Aides are saying that February 1st deadline, he very well might do it. What does this say to Russia, where he's threatened tariffs if they don't come to a deal with
Ukraine?
Ukraine?
I mean, China won't take their people back.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that one turns out. And then JD Vance was asked about immigration, and especially about the vetting of service people who helped us in Afghanistan and then were here. So he was asked about this on the Sunday show. Watch here.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago, he was allegedly properly vetted, and many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted. Clearly he wasn't. I don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted, and because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
No, and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here or while he was living here.
I don't really care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and I think most Americans agree with me.
The memes of I don't really care, Margaret.
Yes.
Pretty good.
He's very good at the one-liners. It was so smart of him to take this issue and put it in the context of his neighbor and extend that out to your neighbor. He made that situation very personal. He was very emphatic about it. It came across as very much common sense. And when you look at this broadly, I get that that was a different circumstance. It was Afghanistan he was mentioning. But in San Antonio, they picked up a guy, a Tren de Aragua gang member, who has a handgun related to a 2024 murder. This individual was given a notice to appear by Joe Biden and released into the country. A Tren de Aragua gang member. This is who they're picking up, and the administration is so smart to put out the images of single adult males boarding planes, put Tom Homan in Chicago, allow cameras from Fox News to follow some of these ICE raids. The imagery is powerful.
Yeah, everything about which we just discussed led Politico to pen this headline. Country went from invisible president to an omnipresent one. As fast as the movers changed out the White House furniture, the country went from an invisible president, unable to command the spotlight, to an omnipresent one who wants the public's attention at all times. Boy, is that what we saw.
It is indeed. We went from a president cocooned to a president unleashed. When you look at the details of that Wall Street Journal report about President Biden not having meetings with Yellen and Austin, Adam Smith, who's chair of the Armed Services Committee at the time, couldn't even call the president during Afghanistan. They're canceling meetings. And you compare that to Trump, executive office, like EO signings, in front of the Resolute desk while doing freewheeling press conferences. We've already had 2 of those in 1 week. It is such a juxtaposition. 6 days' time.
All right, Kayleigh, I will see you on Outnumbered.
Yes, see you there.
Thanks,
see you
Kayleigh.
at noon.
Thanks for being here.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.